Hey
Hi.
everyone, welcome to Waypoint Season 4, Here Data Layers. My name is Shruti,
And my name is Raymond Camden.
and we are developer evangelists at Here Technologies. And yeah, we are live. So be sure to keep your questions coming, keep saying hi to us, and keep sending us suggestions on what should be the next color of Ray's hair. And meanwhile, we have some mods in the chat. We have Peter, our producer, in the background. So at some point, if you see us speaking to no one in particular, that would be him. And then, well, yeah, keep your questions coming. And if you find something funny, like the sound of church bells right now while I'm speaking, so just make a clip out of it, and we will keep that on our channel. So moving on, Ray, what are we going to do today?
Well, I just want to say, certainly, if you see me talking to myself, it's definitely me speaking to Peter, not to the voices in my head. Just so we're clear on that. All right. Uh, hey, so we are going to be talking about a brand new offering, Data Layers. And I'm going to be introducing y'all to it, kind of walking you through the setup, because it's a couple steps, a couple one-time steps that you go through, and then showing you what the data looks like, and just giving you some examples. That's the plan.
Mm-hmm. So, um, what do you think is special about data layers? Like before getting into it, what would be like the one line pitch for here data layers? What does it do for you?
It gives you access to awesome data. So, if you've been using our stuff before, like our maps and our APIs, you
Mm-hmm.
get data. But this is like the pure from the source information that gives you, I think, a bit more freedom to slice and dice and play with the information.
Sounds super good. I can't wait to look at what you have in store for us today.
Cool. Then let's switch to screen sharing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, sorry. You're not shy, are you? All right. So before I kind of like go into how you get started and stuff like that, I will say that if you go to developer.here.com, if you want kind of like the marketing like introduction to this information, it is on our main website. It is in the main navigation right
Mm-hmm.
there. Here, data layer, so you can kind of quickly go in there and kind of see more than I'll have time to talk about today, as well as the documentation. Now, I talked about how data layers gives you access to kind of our raw data. What do I mean by that? Well, what I mean is that you will actually get Geo Json information, which is a great way of working with geospatial data. All of our APIs work with Geo Json. If you've been to our blog, which I hope that you have, you've seen that we have talked about GeoJSON quite a bit. So it's a friendly format to people who are already working with geospatial information, and it's a real convenient way for us to provide that information. Now, the data actually comes in 10 separate layers. I will be just working on one simple layer today to keep my examples quick and simple. But those 10 different layers cover the following. And I'm totally doing this from memory, not looking at my notes on the right monitor here. The first layer
I believe.
is navigable roads, which is information about roads, but also things like
Mm-hmm.
speed limits and driving direction. Apparently, there's places where people drive on the wrong side of the road, believe it or not. Um, Traffic restrictions. So anything that would be like, I have a truck, I have to deliver something, and my truck can't go there, or I can't turn in that particular area. We have a land use and land cover layers that talk about how people are actually using a plot of land. So, for example, is it a park, and what actually covers that area? So, for example, if it's Louisiana, it's 100% swampland, right? We all know that. There's a hydrography. No, hydrography. It's a water layer. I'm just gonna say water. It's a water layer. So if you
Uh-huh.
need information about lakes, rivers, and things like that, we have a buildings layer, and hopefully you know what buildings are. We have administrative divisions, which explains things like the political areas, city, counties, etc. Also gives you information about time zones. Apparently, Shruti, so it's like 11 a.m. for me. It's 11 a.m. where you are as well, right?
Oh, definitely. Which is why I need an external light because it's not too bright at 11 a.m. for me.
Someone should just fix time zones. It's so inconvenient.
Yeah.
Um, we also have a traffic and destination sign layers. I
Mhm.
will be talking mainly about the traffic sign layer. Don't ask me why, but that just got like I was really excited about that particular layer. But the destination sign one, that's the one like where you're on the highway and it says like next exit, gas station, McDonald's, Starbucks, etc. And there's also a places layer, which is your POIs, your points of interest. So, Shruti, next week you're doing a stream where you'll go deeper into the layers, right?
Mhm. That's definitely. So we're doing one today with you, like as you can see, where we sort of get an overview of this, and then we're doing another one next week where we'll get a bit deeper into like a couple of specific layers and some of the use cases, what you could do with them.
Cool. Okay. So that is the data. And again, I'm gonna walk us through how we sign up
Mhm.
and how we get that information to talk about the details in terms of what you get for our freemium people. And we give a lot at the free layer. I'm biased. I work here, but I really do think that we have a great freemium offering in general across all of our products. For data layers at the free level, you'll get information about one city and you can get all of the layers for that city. And we will give you updates for up to 6 months. At the
Mhm.
pro level, you get information about two cities, and the updates will not time out. They will keep going. Obviously, if you're watching a recording of this, you should check our pricing link, which is on developer.here.com, just to see if things have changed since then.
Mhm.
Okay, so
And
yeah.
would you say that or rather I would ask something like that. How often do you get those updates that you were talking about?
That is a great question that I don't know the answer to. Do you know? I thought it was
I
fairly
completely
often.
sound like a Hermione now, asking a question that I know an answer to just to see if the other person knows it. Uh,
Thank you, Shruti.
I'm so sorry for doing that. But yes, sorry. The updates come in every 2 weeks. So you'll get updated data layers every 2 weeks for 6 months in the freemium layer, and then every 2 weeks without a without an ending date in the pro.
And
So there you go.
I was thinking 2 weeks. I should have just pretended like I knew and just said it and been like so happy when I was right. So
As much as I try, I cannot stop being the Hermione that I was in school. So
no, that's all good.
yeah.
That's all good. Um, So let's sign up, and I'm going to walk through the process of creating a whole new user and kind of showing you what the UI is. I will warn you now. We do ask you for your credit card. You will not be charged as long as you stay within your limits, and that's all clearly documented. But we do ask for the credit card as part of the sign up process for this particular product. So there'll be a part in this process where I'll just move my browser over and enter my credit card and hopefully not say the numbers out loud while I do it. And you'll see that. But again, everything I'm showing today, you can do for free and it won't cost you anything. So far, so good.
Mhm. And if you do end up seeing his credit card details, there is a clip button where you can sort of clip the part of the video and see his details and store them forever. So yeah,
Absolutely. So I am going to sign up and I'm going to use that nice Gmail trick where I could use a plus address. And I did a note for this DL October. Where did I write down? 6, because today is October 6th at
Mhm.
gmail.com. And I will totally make sure no one can see this. All right. And I am in America. And This is the eye test. Let's see if I pass.
Oh, it's getting
And
difficult for me to read it. I think I
I
need
know.
to.
I swear I get anxiety whenever I do that. Um, I work at here. Don't send me email, and I agree to everything. I totally will read the terms and conditions later. I swear. So I am signing up, and it's making my initial project. And let's go into, and I'm not going to worry about confirming my email address yet. So if you want to play with data layers, once you have signed in, whether you're a new user or not, you go into your project and you go to the bottom and you'll see here data layers. So I'm going to click get started. And I'm going to pick the layers I want. Now, I will say when you make your selection, you can't change your mind later. So I absolutely recommend picking all the layers. I can't think of a reason why you would not want to. We do have a limit on how much data you can store in Data Hub, but I doubt most people are even close to that. So that's the only reason I can think of where you may not want to take everything. But I'm greedy. So I'm going to take everything. So we have, I believe, near 70 different cities. I wrote the
That's right.
numbers. No, I was going to wrote those numbers down so I wouldn't lie. But I'm going to pick North America. I'm going to pick the United States, and I'm going to pick Houston because that is the closest one for me. So at this point, it's going to warn me, hey, we need a credit card. So I am going to do that process off screen.
So while you enter the credit card details off screen, I think we had a question in the chat, and this might be related to it. So when Ray signed up, there was a yellow orange ribbon. Sorry, yellow orange ribbon that popped up. So that is basically when you create a new account, you should make sure to confirm it with your email ID. And if you do not confirm it, your credentials, you can still create credentials, you can still use those API keys, but then they expire in 24 hours. So if you want to do a test and you're okay with the account expiring, it's fine. But if you want to use the same account for using exploring all the other APIs or even Data Hub and your data layers, you should make sure to sort of go in your email, check your email for the confirmation link, and confirm your account with the here developers.
Cool. And I have just entered my credit card number, and in theory, it should be good. Yes. So let me go back. Put the browser back on. And so it took me to the credit card information. And when I was done, it brought me right back. And I am going to go ahead and say, save the Data Hub. And it's going to ask me to confirm. And yes, Houston is what I wanted. I see all my layers are selected. And do I want to continue? And as my anxiety goes higher and higher as the cursor approaches the yes, should he do it? Should he not? What if he's wrong? What if a different city is more interesting? Yes.
I always get that when I get asked more questions before confirming something, I always feel that I'm doing something wrong.
Let me tell you, it took like a force of will for me to start putting stickers on my laptop, just because once I commit to a sticker, it's like, oh, I
Yeah.
can't move it ever again. So you saw me hit confirm, and it's giving me a nice message to say, hey, it's gonna take a few minutes. I'm gonna put it in Data Hub, and then I'm gonna hit OK. And at the bottom here, I see 3 different options for working with the data. I can use here Studio, I can use the Data Hub command line interface, and we also have a simple little Geo Json viewer. What I would like to do is use Studio, because I really love to use Studio for prototyping and looking at data. It's kind of the quickest way to say, hey, what does this look like? And then I can play with it, I can customize it, and then go from there. So what I'm going to do is launch Studio.
So meanwhile, for those of us who don't know what Here Studio is, what does it do?
So let me actually log on real quick,
Mm-hmm.
or I'll
Yeah.
forget what I'm doing. x6@gmail.com. Password is password. Uh, oh yes, okay. Everyone gets to see how old I am. Spoiler: I'm old. Down, 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 down. 73. So Studio is a way to create interactive maps. It's great for people who may not be developers, who have information in like CSV or Excel format. It lets them upload the information and then create very nice looking maps. And once they have those maps, they could share it. They could share a link with people. They could take an embed code and put it on like a WordPress site. It's a really, really nice mapping tool. And I say it's for non-developers, or it may be more appropriate. As a developer, I still like going to Studio first because it's so quick and it's so pretty, and it just makes the data look nice. It's a great way to
Mm-hmm.
say, hey, I have this information. What exactly does it look like on a map? Does that make sense?
Definitely, definitely. And I think I've over time, like, go especially for hackathons, this is a great tool.
Mhm.
Especially when you're at a hackathon, you're prototyping, you probably know how to code, but then you want some quick results. You want to literally visualize some data within a few minutes, and then this is a perfect tool for that.
Yeah. And it doesn't do everything. That's not a fault of it. But what I love is that, all my data is in Data Hub. And
Hmm.
if for some reason Studio doesn't quite do what I want, I could use our JavaScript maps library, use the exact same data, and then do more customized stuff there. So, it's no risk. It's again great for prototyping. I just really, really like Studio. Again, maybe a little bit biased. Um, I want to make a new project, and I'm going to
Hmm.
skip the tutorials, and I'm going to call this sign map of Houston. And then I'm going to add my data. And so again, when I added data layers, it gave me all 10 layers for Houston. It sent it to Data Hub. And because Studio works with Data Hub, I have all that information in here. Now, luckily, Studio and Hub read my mind and it put traffic signs on top.
Ah.
So I'm going to add that data set. And Studio is going to say, hey, that data is in Houston. So let's shift the map over there. And what you're seeing here is a crap ton of traffic signs. Now, Studio by default will pick a color scheme. So in this case, it's black with green. And if I don't like that, which is fine, I can go into my points and I'm going to say, let's do blue.
Hmm.
Let's actually click and tweak that. And I actually want them a little bit smaller as well. I am not a designer, but Studio gives you multiple options for changing how this looks. And if I actually click on one of these points, I can see a lot of data based on the data layer. So this is a warning sign, and it's a winding road starting left. And I'm actually going to show more of the raw data in a little bit. But what's
Hmm.
cool is that now that I have this, I could begin kind of doing some cool stuff with it. So what I want to do is I'm kind of curious about the stop signs. So I'm going to add a new point style. I'm going to call it stop signs. And I know that I have a property called sign type.
Okay.
And I'm going to say
I can
equals.
see a bunch of properties there. That's
Yes.
that's
Yeah,
cool.
I'm definitely going to show the raw Geo Json so you can see everything.
Hmm.
The value should be stop. I'm going to confirm. And we could see there are a lot of stop
Oh wow.
signs. And in fact, actually, I'm going to show of the sign data how much are stop signs. But if I were to go in here and say, let's actually make this red because it is a stop sign, comme ça, like that, and a nice, by the way, that's all my French. Like, so we could see you will be stopping a lot as you drive through Houston. What do you think about that so far?
I think there are many schools in there, which is why you have a lot of stop signs. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, and so, unsurprisingly, all these stop signs are like at intersections, so they're not like in the middle of the water, which is good. You can kind of see where things are. I actually have, I want to do one more quick test here. And I tried this yesterday. So I'm going to switch the base map to a satellite map.
Oh,
And I'm going to go into my layers. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the stop sign. Actually, I'm going to configure this. There is a sign for Animal Crossing.
the game?
No. For, the actual, like, there's Animals Crossing here. And what's cool is that there's only 4 of these. The name is wrong, but I'm not worried about that. But what's cool is that these 2 Animal Crossing signs, if you zoom in, you could see that they are actually at like a golf course. So there's probably some wildlife, and being that's the South, probably alligators that could be crossing the road as you drive past it. So it's kind of cool for me to say, here's the data we were given. I have some assumptions about the data, and it holds up that I have Animal Crossing signs that are near an area that is more wooded and more natural, or in this case, a golf course. So it's fake natural, but you get my point.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. So let's actually look at the data. So I can, via Studio, go into my data. And then for each of these, I can go and click on the 3 dots and do download. I'm not going to because I've already downloaded it. And I'm just going to show you in Studio. And let me minimize the terminal. So if you've never seen Geo Json before, it is JSON data. It has a specification that you can look into. At a high level, it's essentially going to be an array of features where every feature represents something on a map. Now, that something could be a point, it could be a line, it could be a polygon, it could be multiple lines. If you can imagine a map and the different ways that you would do things, like Ray is here. Ray took this path as he drove to work, if I actually did that. Here's a polygon of where Ray has been in the last 6 months because of COVID. Very small polygon. So all those different ways that you can draw on a map, GeoJSON supports representing that information. In this case, we're looking at signs. So the data, which will be in a geometry block, is always going to be a particular point. It also makes for good demos because it puts a bunch of dots on your map, and it's really easy to see. But all of these properties here gives you more information about the data. So, for example, you see that it's a road sign, and it's an American one. And you could see it's a regulating. And, based on the particular data layer that you're working with, the properties will have more information about it. Our documentation clearly spells out all of that data. So you don't just, you're not forced to download it and look at it and discover it. We do document all of this so that you know what you're getting ahead of time. Make sense?
Yep.
Cool.
I'm going to drop in the link to the documentation
Sure.
just in case someone wants to take a look at it right now. Yep, there you go.
Cool. So what's nice is that, once I have this GeoJSON, I can do some stuff with it. I was kind of curious about what types of signs were in Houston and just like how much were stop signs compared to everything else. So I actually took my downloaded GeoJSON and I wrote a quick Node.js script. And certainly it's a file that you could use any programming language with. You can use Node, Python, etc. And literally all I did was read it in, look at the sign type, and just count. And then once I had a count, I did a sort and I wrote it out. And as you can see on screen here, and is that big enough to read?
Maybe zoom in a little bit.
Let me actually switch to this. It should be poorly not. All right. Types of How is that? Is that good?
Yeah, yeah.
What's that? How about that? Hey.
Yeah, this looks
So,
good.
of the 7,607 features,
Wow.
I guess that label's wrong. These are the various different types, and I think for the most part, they all kind of make sense. Although there's some
Mm-hmm.
kind of fun ones in here. So where is the fun? So I love that we have a sharp curve left, and we have a sharp curve right, and we also have a
Uh-huh.
general curve. Like I can imagine a
What?
sign like, "Hey, you know what? You're coming to a curve. It may be left, it may be right, and that's your problem. Good luck, buddy." Uh, the other one
I'm
that
I'm
I thought what's that?
I'm definitely wondering what's a general curve.
But yeah,
Like,
it's like somebody got lazy. Like the curve's way down the road. I don't want to actually look and tell you if it's left or right.
yeah.
Uh, I did not know what risk of grounding was, so I
Huh.
Googled it, and let me minimize this. That is this sign, and that's basically that thing where you have a truck with a long bed and a bump. If there's a bump in the road as you go over, the
Uh-huh.
bump could actually get the truck stopped, which is, something else for me
Okay.
to have anxiety about. I have a large car, so now I'm worried about this happening to me, because that's
I also
immediately where my brain goes.
I also see icy conditions. Do you get snow there? I did not know that.
Yeah. So yeah, ice conditions. Yeah, so in Louisiana, we've had snow. It doesn't really stick. It's less than an inch,
Ah.
but it definitely makes the roads bad. And because every person here has no clue how to drive on a good day, um, I know it's crazy, right? Like where I live, people don't know how to drive. I bet you've never heard that before. Um,
Oh, it sounds a lot like where I come from, but yeah. I get it.
um, when it does snow and when it's icy, yeah, people just they
Mhm.
freak out. So yes, we get a tiny amount of snow, tiny amount of ice. So yes, I can imagine they'd want a sign where that would be more of a issue.
Mhm. Cool, cool. Sounds
Um,
good.
yeah. So a lot of stop signs, as I said. Um, Another example that I want to show. So all of this data is in Data Hub, and we provide APIs to work with that data. So, part of that is simple CRUD, so creating and updating, deleting features. But we also provide ways to search against that data. So I, just
Mhm.
downloaded the file and worked locally, but I can use our CLI, which is the here CLI, and I can say I want to look at a space. And when I say a space, you can think of database. It's basically a bucket for our data. When I added
Mhm.
data layers to my account, it basically made buckets for all those 10 layers, and that's where all the information is. This particular space ID is the ID of one of those buckets. Now I'm lying a bit. This
Mhm.
is my personal account, not the account I just made but I wanted a quick demo. So given that I have this information, I could do a show on it, and this should dump
Uh-huh.
a lot of data, like 7,607 things. Okay,
Oh,
so we are
wow.
going to check all of these and count. You ready? One, two, three. No, okay. That wasn't me trying to be funny. I failed totally. We're not going to do all of them. But what we can do instead is actually do a bit of searching.
I think we could do like hyphen hyphen all and maybe get all of them.
We could do that. Yeah. Let's try that. Get bigger dump.
Mhm.
Uh, oh, that was awesome. It's the Matrix. So what I want to do is I want to do a search, and I want to do a similar one like I did for Studio, and I'm going to
Uh-huh.
ask for features where the sign type equals Animal Crossing, because I know there's only 4 of those. Hopefully,
Okay.
like
So
and I can see the 4 features. Along with that, I can also do a radius search. So what I did is I memorized every longitude and latitude in Houston, the entire city.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that there's a point, oops, negative 95.36, 9.7. So by the way, I'm entering longitude, comma latitude, not latitude,
Mm-hmm.
comma
Mm-hmm.
longitude, because Geo Json does longitude first. It took
Yep.
me a while to get used to that.
I think there's this. I think they've mentioned it somewhere that then it gets easier to remember that they do like X and Y.
Mhm.
So like X first and Y, and which is
Yeah.
why they do longitude and latitude.
Yeah. Uh,
So that's really helpful. Yeah.
yeah. So all I'm doing here is I have a point. I know what's in Houston, and I'm doing a
Mm-hmm.
radius-based search for any feature at all. I could filter by property again, but I'm saying find everything within a 300-meter radius, and I'm going to hit enter, and I should see a couple. I see 3 more, and if I
That
were
is a
to
sweet
expand it,
feature.
what's that?
That is a really sweet feature to be able to do this the
Mhm.
search with the CLI itself.
Oh, yeah. And if I do 3,000, it should get a little bit bigger. But
Uh-huh.
again, not everything. And that was more. I don't know meters. I'm an American. I know feet. Uh, let's actually try this one more time with like 600. Should see slightly less data.
Maybe you can do 800 meters, which is like a mile, which you probably
Yeah.
are used to.
Well, I
Huh,
mean, this is
that's
a
yeah.
good list. It's about 9 or
Yeah.
10 or so.
Mm-hmm.
And so everything that I'm showing via the CLI works via REST-based APIs as well. So what's
Mm-hmm.
interesting is that you could take something like this and this kind of data and say, I am building a school and I want to know, are there stop signs around me? I could literally click on a map and based on that location, take that and say, hey, show me the stop signs around me. And if I don't see enough, that could be part of my process. So I, reach out to the city and I say, hey, we need to add more stop signs here. I could take other data and see, like for example, where my accidents are and see if there's no stop signs, and that could be, hey, a cause and effect. A lack of stop signs is causing more accidents at this particular location.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make
I
sense?
think there's also definitely yeah. I think there's also a blog post on the developer blog that we have, which talks about Berlin being the worst city to bike in because we have the most bike accidents in the world. So, there's I mean, yeah, I'm going to put the link to the blog post. It's an interesting blog post which sort of looks at this data and then sort of tries to make this, like you said, the correlation between what is the issue here.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'm going to drop in the blog post link in the chat.
Cool. So, real quick, just because I mentioned and I didn't show it, back in Studio, I did mention that you could share maps pretty easily. So if I click
Mm-hmm.
the publish link, that's it. I'm done. So if I share this link, I'll just do a new tab. You can see the map that I just built, which highlights Animal Crossings, I believe. Yes. And of course, every single other sign as well. I
Uh-huh.
love how easy that is. And let me actually go back here.
Well,
Yeah. You
that looks
also have an
neat.
embed code as well. So like if you're a WordPress person, you could just drop that onto a page and you're good to go.
That looks cool. With that, I'm also going to say that we are at the halftime mark. So I would encourage people in the chat to ask us some questions with your data layers to sort of discuss some use cases that you have in mind. Maybe you can think of something and just ask us if and how we could do them with your data layers.
Yeah, and this is all I have for the intro. It's nice and simple, so we can definitely play around more. People have questions in the chat. And because it's bugging me, I'm going to rename that layer.
So I can also see an embed link in there. So we could easily put that basically in your website and stuff, right? If you wanted to just do
Yes.
like a city website, or you just wanted to do some locations where your offices are or something like that.
Yep. So like you can definitely go to your MySpace page and just drop that right in.
I'm just about old enough to know what MySpace is and not have used it. So
time
yeah,
to bring that back, I think.
How was it?
How what? No, I never actually used it. I knew of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then
It was so MySpace was built on Cold Fusion, so I'm like aware of it because of that, and because I'm old. So.
Okay. Can we have the link to raise? Oh yeah, Michael is asking. He wants a link to your MySpace. What was your name? What was it called?
No. No. It's great. No. No, you cannot. Everybody else can, not you. No, I launched my own personal blog in 2003, so I was self-hosting early.
Wow. That is something.
It's nothing. I'm just old. That's all. I've been around forever.
What did you always write about tech?
Yeah. So I started my blog on tech. Actually, I'll show you my horrible first blog. Not horrible. First post in 18 years ago. Oh my God. 2003, February. One paragraph. Now it's going to be about cold fusion tips, which I did for 10 years or so and then stopped.
That is awesome.
That's something.
That is definitely something. So now that your MySpace is off limits, do we have any more questions in the chat? Do you share something other than here data layers? Or actually, while if we can get some more questions, I would like to share that we have a hackathon coming, and this is called the Map Data Hackathon. It will be on DevPost. We will be releasing the links on this Friday, so stay tuned and keep following our Twitch, or rather Twitter, at your dev. And we will be posting a bunch of more information about what the hackathon is, and not just something vague like I said that we have a hackathon. But Ray, do you have some more information about what are you going to get out of this hackathon?
Hard cold cash. Millions of dollars.
That is right.
The first prize is $5,000. Second prize $2,500, and third place at $1,000. So that's very good incentive, I think, to play around.
That is right. And this will be a map data hackathon. So you can basically come get your, basically sign up on DevPost. Again, the link will be live on Friday. So you'll have to wait 3 more days, just 3 more days before the link is live. And then there's a bunch of dates you'll find. But then the gist of it is that the hackathon ends on the 1st of December. So rather, you'd make your last submissions on the 1st of December, and winners will be announced on the 18th of December. So I think just in time for Christmas, just in time for the holidays to buy yourself some gifts maybe.
And I'd say I'm a huge fan of these hackathons that are like multi-week, multi-month versus 24 hours of no sleep. I think it's much more family friendly if you have a long time to do it. So I think it's great.
I guess it makes sense. And again, now that it's going to be online, it makes more sense to do it over the time than use like 2.5 days of just anyway sitting in there and doing this. So because
Mm,
anyways we're stuck in our homes, it makes sense to do this over time.
yeah.
So I finally found the blog post that I was talking about, which
Mm.
is helping cyclists stay safe in Berlin. So aptly named blog post. So yeah, you can check that out.
Is the advice to
And
like just not use a bike? Is that?
that would be yeah, that would be a great advice actually. It's not that bad.
Yeah.
Although I recently had a bike accident, but then I wouldn't say it was necessarily the road's fault. I I just I just basically got my the bicycle tire stuck into a tram track. So
Oh,
I should have known better,
yeah.
but it was okay. Nothing happened. I just got up and I was fine.
So again, the advice is to not get on a
Hmm.
bike. That's
Definitely. Or move to the Netherlands. They
there we
have
go.
much better bicycle lanes. They have the best bicycling lanes. So move to the Netherlands.
We've added some here recently, and it just does not look safe. Like
Uh-huh.
I know I keep an eye out for bikers. I respect it, but I don't think most of the people on the road have the same consideration.
Hmm. And also bikes feel they're very, I mean, you're very vulnerable when you're on bikes. Like there's no protection at all. I mean, you can wear a helmet and like a bunch of knee guards and elbow guards and such, but
Hmm.
yeah, it's just directly your body that's going to get the most of the hit. So yeah. So, our moderator Mallory has some more information in the chats about the hackathon if you wanted to know
Cool.
details about when it's going to begin, when it's going to end, the timings and details of it. So keep watching Twitter at Here Dev, and we'll be posting the link to this
Mm.
soon. Meanwhile, do you want to share your social media handles, Ray?
I don't know if you want to
Except
follow me.
MySpace, maybe.
I am Raymond Camden on Twitter. And you should definitely follow me because we have a category 4 hurricane heading our way again. And you can watch me slip into panic as that happens.
Oh God, I hope everyone's safe. And yeah,
It's
the
it,
last time I remember you posting a few pictures or rather video of the one before, right?
yeah, I think that was last weekend, maybe.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, 2020. Um, no,
Yes.
yeah, it is what it is. Unfortunately, I live in an area. Every place you live has something. So unless you move to the moon,
Well, Moon has no air, so that's worse, I guess. But
details,
but
details.
but meanwhile, would you like to do a few more shameless plugs if you're going to write a few more blog posts that we should be looking forward to? If there's a workshop you're doing, if there's another stream that you're doing with the person named Shruti.
So yeah, I'm hosting for you next week, right? Where you talk more
Mm-hmm.
about the layers, deeper into the layers, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And that
Yep, yep,
is
yep.
same time next week, or is it Thursday?
It is same time next week, so just 1 week from now, 11 a.m. PST. Is that the time zone? Yeah, 11
Uh,
a.m. PST on the 13th.
I think it may be 9 a.m. PST.
Oh,
I think
okay.
because it's
So
the same,
then,
if it's the same
okay,
time.
I'm just gonna say 6 p.m. European time, Central European time. Does that, or Berlin time? So
It,
I'm gonna say the one that is the most convenient.
it's going to be
So
at
yeah.
a time. That's when it's going to be at a time.
Yep,
And
yep,
people should
yep.
just hang out at our Twitch 24/7. Like, why not?
Keep waiting for us.
Yes, just wait for us to bring the awesome. And we definitely, so also on our blog, like I know I have a blog post and I know you have Sina has one, and you have one as yeah. There you go.
Mhm.
So there's multiple blog posts about data layers that you can look at right now and get more information.
That is that's definitely helpful. Thanks a lot. And I think Peter, are we going to do the rating as well? Are we going to rate some other channel? Oh, okay, okay.
What's that whisper I hear in my head?
I'm wondering. Mhm. I'm I'm in a huge dilemma. I'm trying to decide if I should talk to the voice in my head. Should I respond to the voice in my head, or should I just like, yeah, should I just basically say that nothing happened?
Should definitely talk to it. Definitely.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
not awkward at all.
Yep.
Yeah. We have
I'm
a
I'm oh
What's that?
I was just I was just looking for the blog post that you mentioned, and thanks to Mallory, she's already posted those links in the chat. So yeah, if you want to take a look at those blog posts, just get to know what is there in these data layers. If you just want to get started with them, we have those blog posts in the chat. And thanks, Mal, for putting those links in there. I was just yeah looking at those and like, oh my god, I don't know how to type anymore. So there we go.
Very
So
cool.
yep, perfect. So what do we have here? Okay, so we are going to join a chat by the username of Pearly Owl. Pearly Owl. Okay, that's interesting.
Hmm.
And what does Pearly Owl do? So if you stay here, you'll be taken to Pearly Owl's page, and uh, they do some interesting stuff. So if you want to hang out here and go to their page, they do some iOS and Swift stuff.
Hmm.
And so if you want to stay on there, just go say hi, say here from here dev. So go say hi, go watch their iOS Swift stuff. And if you get some ideas from them, just let us know what you built, or like, yeah, just let us know what you're going to do.
Oh.
So so then, yes, meet you this time next week.
Mhm.
And thank you for attending the our live stream. Thank you, Ray, for explaining this so well, giving a deep dive into every step on how to get your data layers working. So yeah, see you
Eh,
next time.
Bye, y'all.
Bye bye.